Shah Sachal Sami. Shah Sachal Sami, this trilogy is the ultimate for Sindhis. Mohan Gehani uncle एक किताब translate किया in English में, because he knows that it's very important that our next few generations असां हली वेंदासीं त उहे पढ़नि. Sindhi में न पढ़नि त English में पढ़नि. They should know what is Shah Sachal Sami. After we launch the book, we will have music, which is only Sufi music, which is based only on Shah Saab's kalams and kafis, Sachal Sai and Sami's slokas. This is Mohan Gehani uncle, my favorite uncle. Welcome, welcome. He has an equally beautiful and talented wife. Rupa auntie is there. Please give it for you, Rupa auntie. So, Tinija Kitabanja Nalai and Shah Sachal Sami. And Jeko Kalyan Advani Saab book likhe ho 1950, uncle, if I'm not mistaken. 1950 wale kitab jo translation kaiwa. From 1951 to 1954, whatever was written on Shah Sachal Sami, wo uncle translate kaiwa at this age. So let's hear it for uncle. And Nandita Bhavnani, one scholar, will introduce another scholar now. Over to you, Nandita.
So it's my privilege and honor to introduce Dada Mohan Gehani. And I'd like to just say that, like me, you may be fooled by his youthful appearance, okay? But he's actually a very senior writer. He's from the generation that migrated, and he was part of, for those who know, M.U. Malkani's Sindhi Sahit Sangat, that circle, Sindhi Sahit Sabha, and he also participated in the movement to get Sindhi recognized by the Constitution of India, you know, as one of the official languages. So we need to also, recognize him and felicitate him for this. Yes, in 1967, April 1967. And he is, I would say, a very rare writer of his generation, because he has been very prolific. He has written prose, poetry, translations, etc. But he is equally adept in both Sindhi and in English. And he has written books, multiple books in both languages. So let's hear a big hand for Dada Mohan Gehani. Today we are here to launch not one, not two, but three of his books. So all three, as you can see, there's translations of Shah Latif, Sachal, and Sami. These are actually translations of books written by Kalyan Advani. So to put it in perspective, both Shah Latif, Sachal Sarmast, and Sami were the triumvirate of Sindhi Sufi literature. They were like mini gods, one could say, if you look at Sindhi literature, especially Sindhi Sufi literature, and the way they have expressed the humanism that I spoke about earlier in my talk, you know, they have taken it to another level altogether. And the way they have taken their faith, their devotion to God, and their approach, you know, to realizing God. Which is, you know, in Sufism, the basic belief is that if you love God, you express that love by loving his fellow creatures, by loving who he has created, that is other human beings and animals and so on, okay? And this comes through in Sufi poetry. And this was the writings of Shah Latif, Sachal Sarmast, and Sami. Now, in our modern age, we were fortunate to have with us Kalyan Advani, who was first a professor at DJ National College in Hyderabad, Sindh, and later a founding professor of Jai Hind College here in Mumbai. And he was another level altogether. He was at another level. He has written commentaries on these three poets, you know. And these commentaries is what Dada Mohan has translated for us. So these books are very important because they act as a bridge. As we were talking earlier, Sindhis today are not in touch with their language and not in touch with their cultural heritage. And very important and significant part of that cultural heritage is this Sufi thought, Sufi philosophy, and a very humanistic approach, you know. And how do we access that poetry? There have been translations of the poetry too, through the ages, multiple translations into English. And we are honored to have with us on stage Anju Makhija, who has translated Shah and is currently translating Sachal. We have Menka Shivdasani, who with Dada Mohan has also translated Sachal. We have here Gayatri Chawla, who is also in the process of translating Sachal. So we've had a lot, and also let's not forget Rita Kothari, whose Hindi translation of Shah has come out recently. So we've had translations, but also it is important for us to have a bridge with Kalyan, Advani, and thinkers of that generation who had a very deep understanding of these writers. And that very important task is what Dada Mohan Gehani has done by translating these 3 books. Can we see the books? Can we hold them up? This is Shah Latif, Sachal, and Sami. Okay? So, sorry. Yeah, I believe Mr. and Mrs. Ashok Advani are here. They are Kalyan Advani's son and daughter-in-law. If you could just... Oh, your daughter, his daughter is also here. I'm sorry, I can't see them in the audience. Okay, okay, lovely to have you. And, you know, I'm sure your father, wherever he is, would also be happy to see that he is being remembered. So, a big thank you to Dada Mohan and many congratulations. Thank
you. Saz Agarwal, Gayatri, Nandita, Anju, Venka, and my dear Barkha. We knew her as Sindhu, but now I call her Barkha also sometimes. I can understand how much effort must have gone by Saz into putting all this together. मुंहिंजी सिंधी साहित्य मंडल में एंट्री 1954 में थी 54 में ऐं मुंहिंजी पहिरीं आखाणी प्रोग्रेसिव तरक़ी पसंद मैगज़ीन में 1955 में छपी त मुंहिंजी जेका लिटरेचर सां हिकिड़ी मुसाफ़िरी आहे उहा काफ़ी लंबी रही आहे पहिरीं असांजे साम्हूं मसइलो हो त सिंधी ॿोलीअ खे जोगी जाइ कहिड़े नमूने हिंदुस्तान में ॾियारिजे मां सोचे सम्झे करे सिंधीअ में ॻाल्हाए रहियो आहियां छाकाणि जो मूंखे पक आहे त तव्हां सिंधी भली ॻाल्हाईंदा न हुजो पर सिंधी सम्झी सघंदा आहियो जेके सिंधी सम्झो था उहे ताड़ी वॼाए एतिरा सिंधी जेके सिंधी सम्झी सघनि था ऐं उन्हनि जे लाइ मां अंग्रेज़ीअ में ॻाल्हायां अंग्रेज़ीअ में त मूं किताब तर्जुमो कया आहिनि I can very fluently speak in English. There's no problem about it. But when I saw that we have lost 3 generations to our language, and they are quite oblivious about the fact that they have inherited a rich cultural and literary heritage. I wanted to give the best of what I could give through English, because I thought that it is only through English that we can build a bridge to bring them back and connect with them their roots. I started by writing a history of Sindh. That is a political timeline. But then, after all, the history has always remained a political timeline. That was in English. Then I had presented some papers at international seminars. They were in English. That book also came. Some of my poems were translated into English, 2 books with Menka. And the third book, which he co-authored with me, was Doira of Sachal. And now these 3 books. I need your good wishes so that I may continue to write. Let me tell you that every accolade, every award, every felicitation that I get is really a challenge to me to come up. For any creative person, it is really a challenge. And please bless me so that I am capable of facing my own challenge at a creative level. I have to thank you, and I have to thank every one of them. And it will be my pleasure to hear them to say something about my book. Thank you.
I just want to add here something that I forgot to mention earlier, that all 3 of these books have been published by SARS publishing house. And I think that although she has been recognized as a writer, I think she has not received enough recognition for the amount of work she does in publishing. So just want to acknowledge that.
SARS has been doing a wonderful job at multiple levels. She is really a wonderful lady, and I urge you to please clap your hands till your hands get tired. Thank you.
Uncle, हिकु शाह जो नंढो ॿ मां तव्हांजे लाइ ॻोल्हे खणी आई आहियां शाह जे रसाले मां. माण्हू सभु न सुहिणा, पखी सभु न हंज, कंहिं कंहिं माण्हूअ मंझि अचे बोए बहार जी. I have translated into English too. Not all humans are beautiful, not all birds are swans. The fragrance of spring emerges from some special people, and that is you. Okay, so now what we are going to do is do a reading of Shah, Sachal, Sami. After that, there'll be music of Shah, Sab, Sachal, and Sami. So over to you, Anju. Anju will read. Anju has translated, Shah Abdul Latif with Hari Dilgir in 2005 into English. And it has been staged at many places. She's got the Sahitya Akademi Award also for that translation. She's a poet and a playwright, but today we are talking about what she has done for Sindhi. So let's hear it for Anju Makija. Anju will read Shah Abdul Latif. Shah Abdul Latif by Anju.
Hello, good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here with you and everybody else. Because he was talking of accolades, and I think the best thing for any writer here, and I'm sure they'll vouch for it, is to have an appreciative audience. So once more for him, a very appreciative audience. And of course, he'll keep on writing, we know that. I'd also like to, we've been mentioning Advani, and I'd like to bring in 2 people who are also very senior, if I may, Barka. One is Hari Dilgir, who actually inspired me to translate this book with him. And I think he's quite well known as a writer and of a senior stature. And the other is the introduction. He said he was senior to Kalyan Advani. So you can see that they were really the pillars, right? Kalyan Advani, Hari Dilgir. And Hari Dilgir was from Kutch. Kalyan Advani, I think, is here now, from his son is here. And anyway, the main thing to say is to also recognize them and also recognize another person, Dr. Jotwani, Motilal Jotwani. He was the third pillar, I think. Yeah, so Motilal Jotwani, I got to meet him personally a few times because he has written the introduction to this book. Time is short. I think many people here know Shah Latif, Shah Abdul Latif, who's becoming a worldwide figure and has been. He was initially translated by the Germans by a gentleman called El Sakazi and Ernest Trump, who I had to read extensively to translate this. And then there was a Muslim edition which was published, which is kept in the British Museum right now. So there's a lot of exposure all around the world. How do I know? Of course, from reading, and of course, from all the communication that I have been getting since the past 20 years. The book is still available, believe it or not, and I'm most grateful to Katha publishers for that. So without further ado, I'll get to his poetry. And he was called the Shakespeare of Sindh. So we can have very high expectations from him, Shah Latif. I'll start right from the first page, which is like a prayer, which I think is appropriate today. It's from Sur Kalyan. Latif says, without beginning, without end, all-knowing monarch of the universe, omnipotent and benevolent, the one and only Lord. Utter his name, sing his praises, the ever-compassionate creator of the cosmos. And just a few more verses. I think I'd like to go to some Sufi imagery, which we may not have touched upon, because they, as Mohan Gehani says, that, and Nandita said, the Sufis were great integrators. They drew from both Vedantic and Islamic traditions. And of course, they have their own Sufism. But remember that they drew from both. So they were integrators, and we can never forget that. And that is so alive. And if you have read Omar Khayyam and Rumi, you'll see that the imagery used by Shah Latif is tremendous. It sort of takes you there to where the other Bhakti poets went and the Sufi poets have gone. So what I'd like to do is, see, here's an imagery. I won't explain it because it's so strong. It says, will you follow me to the gallows, my friend? The gallows await those who seek the beloved. Gallows, in the olden days, we had gallows where people hung themselves, or were hung rather. If your love is true, first cut off your head. What is the head? The ego. If your love is true, first cut off your head. Lover, do not return until you are beheaded. So all this strong imagery is very, very prominent in Shah Latif's book. And then right in the next page he says, why blame the dagger when the butcher holds the handle? Why blame the dagger when the butcher holds the handle? The beloved's behavior causes even steel to quiver. Lovers are transformed. And the last two verses. I pray for the dagger to be blunt. I pray for the dagger to be blunt. Let it linger a little bit longer in the beloved's hand. Again, why the dagger? To cut off my ego. O butcher, possessor of daggers, I hunt you out. In love's slaughterhouse, I place my head on the block. Chop me to pieces, my Lord. So we too have to try losing our egos. Thank you.
Thank you, Anju. I forgot to mention that Anju and I are working together on Sachal Sarmast. I've already worked with Menka on the Seven Queens. Now, Menka Shivdasani who's an innovative.
Uncle at Kanagura Arts Festival 2026 on 6th of Feb, 6 p.m. onwards at Horniman Circle. See you there.
Sorry, I'm trying to get him to read the Sindhi version of what we're going to read in English.
Now we are going to read Sachal Sarmast. Menka has worked with Gehani uncle on 2 or 3 books. And now currently she's working on a very special Sindhi edition for Muse India, which will be released in March. Over to you, Menka.
Thank you, Barkha. I have had the pleasure of working with Mohan Gehani. It occurs to me it was exactly a decade ago that we did our first book. Thank you. It was a decade ago that we did Brittle Ice, which is the English translation of Mohan Gehani's own poetry. He is known for his scholarly work as a historian, but very few people knew also that he was a poet in his own right. So in 2015, we did Brittle Ice. And a few years later, we did While Sowing Dreams, which is again another book of his poetry. Published by SARS. And recently we did this book, Love is the Only Finality, published by Sahitya Akademi. And mercifully, it is available on Amazon. They only allow you to buy 1 book at a time. So do take a look. And this is again a bilingual edition. And he translated Sachal Sarmast. I want Mohan Gehani ji to first read the Sindhi versions, and then I will read the English. Barkha, do you mind just holding this? Thank you. So this is what, I don't know if you can see that there, but there's an English version, there's the Sindhi version, and there is some explanation by Sahib Bichani from the Indian Institute of Sindhology. So, okay. He says the explanation was also his, but Sahib Bichani was definitely involved with the publication. The mic. Okay. He is within you. Scriptures declare it. Only those with love in the heart will be able to read the right lines. The heavenly God they meditate on is in the heart. Some have been imprisoned by rituals. Some suffer the pangs of divine love. Sahib Dina, they only are right who have turned many such pages.
जेका ॻाल्हि सूफ़ी मत जी आहे, is it proper? जिते शाह लतीफ़ चवे थो त ससुई ऐं पुनू जॾहिं पाण में थियनि था तॾहिं न को ससुई थी रहे न को पुनू थो रहे। उन फिलॉसॉफी खे खणी करे ही सचल चवे थो तो में देरो दोस्त जो आहे मुजिब किताबनि पढ़िया जे प्रीतमूं उहे सही सिट परनि कल्ब मोमिननि अर्श अल्लाह ताला चयो पाण दरियुनि। Your body itself is a God. That is what the Prophet has said. के ॿुधण सां ॿुटिजी विया, के मोहबत मंझि मरनि, सही साहिब ॾिना न जिन, अहिड़ा कई वर्क वराए छॾिया।
those who have tasted that sweet nectar have lost their senses. People call them mad. They are not. They are full of treasure, who are full of true love, says Sachu.
चुको उन्हीं चाश जो चखी ये था चढ़िया चुको उन्हीं चाश जो चखी था चढ़िया चढ़ियो खड़ियो लोक चवे आहिन की न चढ़िया बागी से बढ़िया सच्चा सिक वारा थिया
And the last verse, because we are running out of time, so one last. Breath is finite. You have true love in your heart, Sachal. The naive do not know the way. The powerful build forts with false towers. The true, whose word is deep indeed, will find their way.
दम नफस्क ये माना है सह वञण जी दम नफस्क जी सचल सची राह न ॼाणनि मूड़ा हस्ती वारा कोट बणाइनि किंगरा रखनि कूड़ा सचा राह उहे ई लहंदा ॻाल्हाईंदा जे ॻोड़ा This is a path where you have to sublimate yourself by submitting. When you submit, you sublimate. Thank you. I feel humbled by this honor, this felicitation really has humbled me, and I crave your good wishes. With that, I want to live.
I just have to tell you that at age 89, he is unstoppable. He's still working on several books, and he keeps coming to me with ideas for new projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Menka. That uncle ta wanyo na. Baki hik man to bio. Because Shah Sahab thi wo, Sachal thi wo, and Sami, Gayatri Chawla will read.
Okay,
Gayatri Chawla is a poet, translator, French teacher, and a healer. We have also worked together on a book called Borders and Broken Hearts. Over to you, Gayatri. She's also doing Sachal.
Yes.
Uncle ta bio.
Thank you, Barka. Jai Jurelal. Good evening, everyone.
And sorry, Gayatri. Uncle read about Sasui Punu. We have Kajal who's going to sing Sasui Punu today. Kajal, come behind stage, backstage. And Kajal is going to sing Sufi music, Drishika Advani and Girish Sadvani. Tai Sufi music kinda. Come on, Gayatri, Sami.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here for Sindhi Viraasat at Kalagora Arts Festival 2026. Thank you, Saaz and Barka, for having me on this platform. I'm reading the English translations by Mohan Gehani ji of Sami. No one can wipe away the grim of illusion from the heart, not through pilgrimage, fasting or prayer, not by renouncing the world and retreating to a cave. Sami says, only at the feet of the master will you find true joy. Without realized beings, the world is a desolate desert. Sami says, their presence quenches the thirst of the soul. To find a true master is the reward of lifetimes of good deeds. And the last verse. Sami says, why are you so attached to illusion? You gather elephants, horses, palanquins. Many come to your door as seekers, but when the dream ends, you awaken a beggar. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri, and sorry for cutting you short, but then we are running short of time. Thank you, Uncle. Mehrbani. Dua kajo. Sab reh ji acche.